Yo, we on our walk and a little colder than I expected. This is this winter storm week over here in Chicago. Ain't been outside in a few days because of it, but it stopped snowing. Um, but yeah, it's a little colder than I thought. You know, snow doesn't always necessarily mean snow on the ground. Don't always necessarily mean it's like really cold. Cause sometimes it'd be like 35. It'd be 40. With the snow on the ground, but it's a little colder than I thought, so I had to go get my little mask. So I could breathe a little bit more decently. But yeah, we outside getting a nice brisk step to my step. Okay, moving around, the energy getting the blood flow. Okay, wanting and doing these walks more consistently in my life. I do enjoy, especially walking after food, just to support with, movement in my gut. And just for anybody, it's good to get moving after you eat, instead of like having to sit down, have all that crunched up. Like, yeah, movement helps with everything: blood flow, digestion. So much. But maybe let's share some of that on a little voice note. All right, let's tap in.
Okay, so I really want to put y'all on to this amazing grass greens blend superfood powder. I've been using it for years, and it's just a really cool way for me to get in my greens. I'm somebody that struggles with getting in their greens. I'm a carby girl, so I really have to think about it. And so it's hard for me to eat, make sure I'm eating enough of them. I'm doing better with it now these days, so I'm doing better. But definitely in the past, I would just eat carbs and protein, like meat and bread. So this is really cool. It's been supporting me. Great for gut health. If you're somebody that can't eat raw vegetables like me right now, I can't really do that. Hard to process for me right now. You can do your power smoothies, or you can do your, look at that, 1 billion probiotics, big blends of all these fruits and vegetables, right? It's just, yeah, the convenience for me is what I be tending to go for. Like, convenient, but, still reasonably, obviously this is processed, but, this for me is a way I could at least get it in versus not having any. So you really got to do what works for you. Okay, try it out. Let me know how you like it. Try to get 20 to 30 vegetables in a week, y'all. Again, this is a way for me to do that a little bit easier. But get that variety in, get those different colors in, 20 to 30 a week. I learned, I think on a documentary I watched, like they use the acronym ABCs, like always be counting, right? Always be counting. So 20 to 30 vegetables a week, try to get it in, always be counting, always be thinking about it, always be working toward those power smoothies. If you want to make them on your own, I just don't have the time, or just, it's not, it's not for me to be getting in on the blender all the time. So just find what works for you. Do the best you can, right? Or eat your vegetables. If you hate this, it might be nasty to you. It's a little, I don't like it the best myself, but I think it's better than other options that I've had. So try it out. Hopefully you can see, y'all were able to see everything that's in there. Okay, and maybe I'll give you a quick look there if y'all want to screenshot that. All right.
What's up, team? We back with another vlog walk. All right, let me know what y'all want to call these. I love walking and thinking, walking and visioning, walking and yeah, just feeling my brain just feel more creative and active, and the ideating, and it's happening a lot when I'm moving in general. Definitely for me, that's something that helps me feel more creative. So on my walk again, this will probably be a thing. Voice notes when I'm walking. Y'all, it's cold outside. But we're still here. I got my little mask on, my little ski mask thing. Y'all don't usually like to wear that all the time, though, because, I'm black, and I don't know. People just get to looking at you in certain areas, and it's like, oh, well, That's all the time, though, regardless of what I'm wearing, what you're wearing. But it's cold, and I got it on today, and it's helping me breathe better, helping me feel my nose better. I be having respiratory things, so I can't be out here not being able to breathe in and out. So we got the mask on, we got the gloves on, we got the hat. We walking with a pep in our step, okay? And it is not feeling too cold every stride I take. There's a life lesson. Sometimes you just gotta get out and do the thing. All right? Sometimes, it's gonna be cold outside. Sometimes it's gonna be hot outside. Sometimes you're gonna be tired. Sometimes, you're just not feeling the thing that you originally intended to do for the day or whatever. But sometimes it's really good to do it anyway. Okay? Sometimes it's good to push yourself, just to get out there. You set the intention, like follow through with your intentions. Obviously, things shift in life and you have to move around as necessary. And I'm a very, how can I say, I'm a type of trainer, I'm a type of coach that is very much always thinking about having to adapt. Okay, so I'm not gonna ever be like you have to do it this way, or I'm not one of those no pain. What's it? No pain, no gain, or like you gotta really go through it to like get results. Like really, that works for some people, and I know a lot of us, especially I grew up in the 90s or early, that were in sports and things. Like maybe our coaches pushed us to that way, or if you went on and played more elite sports or whatever. Not even sport. That's just the thing that I did, or any activity that you pursue rigorously. If you're my age or older, we were pushed, and we were taught like it's not gonna feel good all the time. It's not gonna, it gotta be hard. You gotta go through it for it to be meaningful. And I don't know. There's to each his own, but you really have to be able to manage different situations, different emotions, and that's really what life's about, right? Not just always the fight and the grind, because especially marginalized identities, like some of us go through that all the time in different ways, and it's so maybe we want to feel a little bit more peace sometimes, you feel me, and not things to not feel so hard, right? What is it? Trisha Hershey, Rest is Resistance. Yeah, get that book. Follow Trisha Hershey. If I'm saying her name right, I believe I am. But rest as resistance or rest is resistance. Like right there's everything is like on a spectrum, and that's always everything I'm talking about. Everything that I'm teaching, coaching, how I move. There's a perspective to everything. So I'm never going to be like, this is the way to do it, right? I'm not that type of person. I think like a lot of us, I kind of maybe grew up with that sort of thinking. And you know, again, I've not to say I didn't learn lessons from that in my environment, from my parents, from institutions that I was at. There's a lesson in everything if you choose to find it. But what's worked for me and what's healthier, based off of what we know now, right, with mental health and like times of change, right? You got to be able to navigate a life's curves and winding, and that's it's not, everything is not linear. Okay, so just because you in a gym 5 days a week, 3 hours, going hard, killing, you always sore, at some point that's not going to work anymore, because there's a thing called plateauing. All right, and you got to shift, you got to adapt, you got to deload, you got to, you know, do something different, you got to recover, you got to, you know, you can't just be inflamed all the time while you're working out, right? As an example, you can't just be stuck in like, yeah, post-workout, you know, if you know, you got to be able to clear it out. You know, I'm saying a lot of things, but I'm trying to give examples, enough examples so y'all hear me, you hear what I'm saying. There's power and there's growth in all aspects of the spectrum of intensity, I guess, of living, right? The different ways, right, to go hard, or to, if I'm more on the go hard side into things, or if I'm more on the, hey, I do my walks. I prioritize my walks every so often, right? I prioritize my meditation. I prioritize going to bed early. I prioritize, you know what I mean? Some of those lighter things, right? Yeah, you know. So hopefully y'all are incorporating balance in your lives. Hopefully you're incorporating balance in your life. Because here's the thing. When we are, you know, in this world, and in the systems that we live in, right, in the systems that we did not consent to adopting, like, right, capitalist, patriarch, all these things that we are living through in this world, right? This what's it called? The rat race, you know, there's called different things, or like all this, we're expected to just like go, do, produce, right? Because, you know, they want us to believe our existence is just about production and not about actually living and being alive, and our life being our own, right? Our life being about love and presence and like things that's actually seems more relevant to why we're alive, not just to produce. But I don't want to go too much on a tangent, because that's always what I'm doing. But you know, when we actually get to center things that are restorative, right? You'll find that your body and your system is going to reset, all right, and re-up its capacity for you to even be able to produce at the level that you want to. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, your job, these systems, they don't want you to they don't want to center that. They don't want to prioritize that, even though it really will benefit everybody in the long run. But it's not even about that. It's not even about being able to rest so you can produce. It's about being able to rest and restore for the sake of you having health, and for you being well, and for your life, for you to have the best life, well-being that you can have. because that's actually what it's about. That's what I want for you. That's what I want for me. That's what I'm prioritizing in my life. You feel me? That's what I'm prioritizing these days. So, and it's been life-changing for sure. So, yeah, we outside. I'm recovering. I'm doing that walk. I'm doing that. We walking. Okay. Here's what I was getting to. When we are able to prioritize the beginning ends of that, like, spectrum of intensity. I gotta think of a term for that, maybe a spectrum of intensity, right? Like, I'm more doing the recovery type things, the slower, the lighter things. There are, like, health benefits. There are scientifically backed benefits to those things too. Not just the production type things, not just the gaining more muscle if you are in the gym more often. That stuff is true too, but there's balance in those. Those factors aren't often talked about, okay? And I want to maybe talk about it a little bit in the context of a walk as an example, okay? So, walking. Y'all, when I'm doing my walk, I am most often, excuse my my clearing of my congestive clearing. Okay, we in the cold, and again, it's not gonna be a perfect, clean speaking for me all the time. It's like I'm being my real self, right? I'm just coming off of being sick. I'm recovering. I have respiratory conditions. Like, I'm just be my full self. I'm just letting y'all know in advance. It ain't gonna be, and I ain't gonna edit my little thing. So anyway, just a little note to yourself, okay? So just bear with me. When I'm walking, right? Benefits of walking that are coming to mind. First off, y'all, I'm typically working on that kind of zone 2, cardiovascular work, right? So if you know that zone 2, that heart rate, right, is at 60 to 70% of my in terms of my maximal heart capacity. Okay, so 60 to 70% in terms of, like, think cardio. Like, I'm also walking in the snow, for example, so I'm getting a little bigger steps, have to work a little harder, trudging through, which is good. So I'm thinking about that as a positive, not a negative, walking through the snow, getting to work a little bit. I'm taking long strides, I'm pushing through because I'm at 60 to 70% of my heart rate, right? So I'm also, even though it's cold outside, I feel warmer after being out here for just a little bit. Warmer. It's not as bad, right? It got outside. It's actually not as bad once you start moving your body, right? It's like, oh, okay. It's cold, but, like, I actually feel more energized, more ready for the day now that I've warmed up a little bit. So it's overall good, right? I am in my zone 2 today, okay? Taking those bigger steps, getting that, you typically will feel, you're not really out of breath with this sort of work, but maybe a little bit if, like, you are working toward building up your cardiorespiratory endurance. You might feel a little bit of that, and that's great. Get out there, start with zone 2. That's important. So you might be somebody benefiting on the endurance end. Heck yeah, get out there. It's a great start to getting your heart back stronger, okay? But again, not just that. It's not just about, like, building necessarily. I'm focused more on, again, that recovery, like I said. So typically, zone 2 cardio is, like, that zone is just scientifically that kind of zone for recovery, for metabolic clearing, for increased mitochondrial growth, right? Our mitochondria, like think back to science class, like our powerhouses in our cells, our powerhouses that gives our body energy. Like you can build and grow more of those when you're up on that zone 2 cardio and cardio in general, but like even just a light zone 2, right? It's going to help build your capacity, improve your ability of your body to break down energy, move, right? Increase your metabolism, all those things, clear faster, recover faster. Okay, so when our body's more cleaned up and moving more efficiently, you're able to do more, have more capacity. Okay. So I'll just say that blood flow too. Like that's another area of clearing that's in movement, right? Again, I think my last note I mentioned the word movement, right? Love the word movement because what's happening when I'm on my brisk, strong zone 2 walk, right? I'm getting that work. I'm getting that blood moving through my muscles more. We're getting some clearing of inflammation that I might have had from a prior workout. But again, even if it wasn't workout, I'm getting that blood flow. If I was stuck in a position all night sleeping, I'm getting that blood flow, moving some things around, feeling a little bit better, getting that energy, those nutrients to the areas of my body that need it the most. Movement helps. Movement helps you feel better, okay? Man, we're working. All right. Insulin. Insulin sensitivity. How cool is that? That we get to improve and make improvements on that insulin sensitivity with a zone 2, a walk outside, okay? Just an intentional walk outside. We get to improve that. Like we want to make sure our body's able to use insulin the way it needs to, right? So that we can actually move that glucose that's in our bloodstream. I know y'all know this with diabetes. This is something that's rampant in our country, and so a lot of us know some of these things. But yeah, we want to make sure that our body's not resistant to insulin. We need to be able to use these chemicals, these hormones, these things in our bodies that get released to send signals for important work to go down in our bodies, right? So we want to be able to use insulin the way it's designed. We don't want to build up resistance to it. So, right? If you're somebody that you like that high glycemic, you like the simple sugars, I love it too. I'm with you, right? But if you maybe are eating more of that than you like to at this point in your life, right? It's just around holiday season right now, so I definitely have been up on my simple sugars for sure. But a response to that doesn't have to be being negative with yourself. It's like, okay, how can I adapt to, right? Maybe make sure I'm consistent with my walks to get that clearing, to get that movement, to get that, improve that insulin sensitivity. So the glucose is actually moving to where it needs to go, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's start thinking holistically about these things. Our brains. Okay, I think about my brain a lot. I've been a brain nerd for a while. I did the neuropsychology track when I was in college, and I've thought about going back to pursue a higher degree in neuroscience. Who knows? I may in the future, but I always loved neuroscience. I love keeping up with as best I can with the knowledge and the research, or looking back at old notes and stuff like that. So the brain is neuroscience is very interesting to me, and it's even more interesting to me because I'm somebody that has a neurological condition. Okay, and Found that out a few years ago, okay? And it's like, whoa, like, yeah, like, so what can I do for my brain to be more efficient, right? Walking, this sort of pep in my step, walking is going to also support my brain health, y'all. Oh yeah, it's going to support my brain health. It's going to, again, support that clearing of waste, right? There's what's called like a lymphatic drainage system that your brain utilizes, right? The glial cells, like that's the type of cell, a type of cell in your brain, that can do all kind of different things. But and I might have that might be different, lymph node versus glial. I have to look that up, but just focus on the lymphatic aspect of what I'm saying. This drainage system, or lymphatic drainage system in our brain, is important. So our brain can have the ability to make those new connections and to again form these new cells, form these new connections, and ability to work and move and do the work it's designed to do. So that is a thing. Like, zone 2 cardio is something they'll have. People with movement disorders like myself, they'll have them do that. Make sure they're doing their, I think that is about 150 minutes per week. That's typically recommended for certain, depending on the disorder. But I mean, really, all of us should be doing this work, this walking. All right, should be doing this clearing. I like this word that keeps coming to me. I like the word clearing. Movement. All right. So those are just I got one more I can think of with walking. Cross body work, walking. When you're getting your steps in, like when you're working through that gait cycle, right? You're getting that cross body talk of your brain. Okay? So a lot of us get stuck sitting all day or stuck in one position all day. Walking is a way to get that cross body talk happening, okay, in your body. So it's definitely really good for the brain, really good for your core and your system to get that contralateral feedback in general, right? This is something I also talk about as a trainer all the time. I always have my clients and myself too. We're doing functional movements. We're not just sitting in the machines at the gym. Sometimes, like, there's, again, nothing's just only bad or only good. It's just there's a use for everything. But for the most part, I'm having folks maybe stand on one leg, hold a weight in the other hand, have them do some visual work with that. You know what I mean? I'm having people challenge their system, challenge their balance, challenge their core, challenge their ability to stabilize in whatever position is thrown at them. That's healthy, not just for athletes. That's for everybody. Okay, so cross body, right? Single-sided movements, crossing the body, cross the midline often. Okay, cross the midline, right? Your core, the middle of your body, cross it often. Healthy for your overall well-being. Okay. Well, that seems like enough. I enjoyed this vlog walk. Oh yeah. All right, y'all. Be good, be easy, make good choices. And I'll see y'all on the next one. TBanks out. Peace.